Oh yeah, I was just I was just gonna look at this pollution. Yeah, we got acid rain problem. That's what it says here. Yes. You know this industrial waste. I've been wanting to get rid of that. See, there should be no anything going into the ocean or river or lake or any other water source that has any industrial waste in it, and I actually do have the innovations to do that. Solid waste. What do? We incinerate it for electricity, or we convert it to a building material where you can use it to construct certain underground facilities for perishable items. Yes, sewage. There is no way to there is no reason to treat sewage. A lot of people have this difficult time over the concept of sewage, but did you know if you put actual shit in solid waste, yeah, it's still garbage. I have this problem with the concept of separating the actual shit of the population from the garbage of the population. You know, I could extract 90% of all sewage out of the municipal sewer supply. Yes. And I could put it in the dump and mix it with the actual garbage. Yes. I could squeeze it in a compactor, put a little solar radiation from a satellite. Yeah. And some various other biological, well, actually, it'd be like leftover oil. You know, the oil that you take out of your car when you change it? Yeah. There's a possibility. And then I could incinerate it using well, a ramjet at approximately 1500 degrees. Pooh. Now, why we treat solid waste, I have no idea because it seems to me a complete waste of shit to do that. I could take it out of the municipality, put it out in the desert, grow some very large pumpkins, watermelons, and green leafy plants, and convert it to a fertilizer and fertilize the forest with it. Look at fertilizers and animal manure. Oh my gosh. Then there's that fuel exhaust for every bus and every large boat and possibly some other types of equipment. I could remove all fuel exhaust so it doesn't pollute the actual atmosphere. And then this is, oh, indoor air pollution. Oh my gosh. Did you know that I can actually clean the in? Oh boy, and then there's smog. Oh, you know, I found out about certain technologies that you don't know about, but I do know they exist. They called them tennis ball satellites, and if you put 1,000 of them together, they can actually be controlled using, well, using the broadband of a municipality, large municipalities. I can actually control, well, terabytes of data that's not being used by the actual population. See, let's say you had 500,000 residents in a large city. All of you want to access the internet at the same time from your smartphones. Yes, from your laptops. Well, I can take all of that you don't use because it's difficult to actually measure how much broadband is being used by a population. And I can use that as a way to attract smog and pollution. And then it's possible because I wanted to give $1,500,000,000 of my own wealth as soon as you enforce the laws to move all the pollutants out of the major municipalities, all this smog outside of the atmosphere of the earth so as to cause a kind of a shield of solar radiation so as to not cause the actual communication system of the world to go down. Now, since I know it's very, well, what do you think would happen? Oh my gosh, somebody's been watching TVs about solar flares. What is the sun doing right now? Is it just burping? Now let's say, okay, that I used this blanket of of satellite tennis balls, and I connected it to the broadband, and I controlled it and moved it around in the atmosphere so as to attract all the pollutants above cities. And then there's certain holes. Yeah. Now, there is a real problem with the global communication system. Did well, let's say, okay, we have a large amount of environmental pollution, and I happen to have trillions of dollars of innovations that I'd like to be selling. And you're sitting there at your desk asking yourself, why the fuck you don't enforce the law? I actually do know. Oh, could you get me the air pollutants above every city right now? See, we have the technology using broadband. The broadband that businesses and consumers don't use because of the send and receive, where you can control it, and then you can attract the pollutants and you can remove them from the Earth's atmosphere. That creates a shield around planet Earth so that if there was a solar flare, it would be consumed in the smog outside of the atmosphere. Now, there was a woman, the GIA, something, DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, the Geospatial Intelligence Agency, ooh, redheaded woman, skinny, slender, funny woman, the director of the Geospatial. I had read an article where she herself had designed these satellite. Got a lot of them, don't we, Pooch? Now, I'm actually wanting to rid the planet Earth of most pollutants. Yes. And I'd like to get all the shit, put it with the garbage, and incinerate it, causing an increase in the amount of electricity instead of putting the garbage in the earth and treating the shit so as to clean the water supplies of most every city. Then I'd like to remove the emissions of all large transit systems? Yes, yes, yes. Like to increase the amount of fertilizer available so as to increase the size of the forest? Yes, yes. And then I wanted to get rid of all the smog, and I know I have the technology to do it. Now, if you could enforce the law, I'd like to sell my innovations.